Alright guys, it's time to talk about the Lumina. Yes, Thorn is really good. Yes, Ace of Spades is really good. Yes, Crimson is really good. We did a video on that the other day, make sure you go watch it. Sturm is really good too. Basically all the exotic hand cannons feel great, and I feel like Lumina is no exception to that. It also feels much better than it did before. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at it. I'm going to be showing you some pretty nice gameplay and just talking about Lumina and where it sits in the current meta, and also going to talk a little bit about the nerfs as well to Stasis and particular Warlock, and how I think that was a really good thing that Bungie moved on that so quickly. I've had this video ready to go for a little bit. Actually yesterday I was supposed to put this video out, but I was expecting my PS5 to be delivered. It turns out some really weird stuff went on with my PS5. Like it said it was one stop away at 2 PM, and then the next thing you know it's 10 o'clock at night and I never got my console. Really weird stuff going on there. Yodel.com, get your shit together. But listen, that's neither here nor there. We've had one or two little interruptions to the content, but today is looking like it's going to be packed full of content. So I hope you guys enjoy all the videos that we've got lined up. Now here we go, we're looking at the Lumina. If you guys are not aware about the Lumina and what it can do, think of it as like the complete polar opposite to Thorn. Whereas Thorn poisons you, Lumina heals you. Noble Rounds is the exotic perk. Kills of this weapon leave behind remnants, just like Thorn. Basically when you get your little orb, you then have a noble round, and if you manage to heal one of your teammates, you will get a damage buff for around 10 seconds, and they will also carry the buff as well. So you heal them and you give them extra damage. So it's a really good weapon. The only criticism I would have, but it's kind of not really a fair criticism, I just don't think the perk is worthy of the orb collection system where you have to pick up the remnant. But I get that, you know, it's the opposite to Thorn. It's like, you know, the lore and all of that. It's I think Lumina is what Thorn became, or no, sorry, Lumina became Thorn basically. So it makes sense, but the reason why I think the orb remnant thing doesn't work as well with Lumina is because, at least in PvP, it's like first you have to collect the orb, then you have to find a teammate, shoot them, and then you get the buff. It's quite an arduous, you know, it's quite an arduous sort of process, and especially in the heat of battle in the Crucible, you don't necessarily always have time to turn around, look at your teammate and hip fire them, which by the way is what you have to do with the noble round. Once you have it, you have to hip fire at your teammate, and then you will see the orb slowly kind of just float towards them, and then they'll get healed. One cool thing though I have done a couple of times, and I think there might be one or two examples in the gameplay. I've had a teammate who's frozen, and I have then preemptively shot them with Lumina, and that has then healed them as they break free from the ice, which is pretty nice, I guess. One of the only things in the game that will kind of help you from taking damage. That being said, leading onto those stasis nerfs, you do now break free much faster and take less damage. And not only that, the more resilience you run, the less damage you take and the faster you break out. So some really good changes to stasis. And of course the Warlock as well. The melee got tuned a little bit. The cold snap grenades also got tuned a little bit. But you know, getting frozen is still pretty much a death sentence, so it's not like they've nerfed it into the ground, not by any means whatsoever. I think if you've been using that, or should I say crutching on that Warlock ice melee and you're pissed that it got nerfed, you just gotta understand how powerful that was. Maybe you don't quite realize, oh wait, did you see me healing my teammate? Look at me, man, look at me, just healer Harry out here, you know what I'm saying? Also we were using Truth Teller with it, which is a little bit toxic, but I thought it'd be the fastest way to get as many noble rounds as possible. What with everyone team shotting right now in the Crucible, but you know what, I'll just blast a few Truth Teller shots, get a few cleanup kills with Lumina, and then go around healing my teammates. Now the other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that with it being turned into an adaptive frame, it is no longer obviously a lightweight, therefore it is 70 to the head. This also buffs your damage when you have Blessing of the Sky active. As you'll probably notice in the gameplay, it is 84 to the head when you have Blessing of the Sky active, and I believe 56 to the body. So you might be able to 1 head, 2 body, low resilience, but it is a guaranteed 2 head, 1 body when you have the perk active. And being able to hit them for 84s is just so much nicer than hitting them for 81s like you did before when it was a lightweight weapon. I do believe, and I have to say, if you are one of those people and you're watching this video, all of the people who complained when they announced that 150 hand cannons were being put away for 140s and how it was going to be terrible, do you now realize that that was not the case? And in fact, this change has actually buffed almost all of the exotic hand cannons that were 150s. Thorn's better, Lumina's better, you know, all the hand cannons are better, and I think Bungie do deserve a lot of credit for what they've done with the hand cannon balancing. I think the weapon balancing in Crucible has probably never been better in my opinion. It is really, really good. Everything feels pretty viable and it's just enjoyable. So big credit to Bungie. Hand cannons feel great again, which is really nice. And as I just said, obviously these changes have really benefited the exotic hand cannons. And I think the more exotic hand cannons you see in the Crucible, the better, because they add an extra flavor to the gameplay. It's not just another dire promise or an old-fashioned, you know, the legendary weapons are good, but they don't have that, you know, that special something to them, and Lumina definitely does. Here you can see my teammate was in an Arc Strider, and I obviously healed him. That probably helped him get that kill. He might have just been one shot otherwise. So you can see Lumina does have that potential to counter Stasis as well, which is really, really interesting. And I think in 3v3 game modes, it might shine actually, especially with an organized and coordinated team. If you see your teammate being frozen, get ready to shoot him with your orb, boom. He'll come out of that, you know, that freeze with full health and a damage buff, which is pretty nice, not gonna lie. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the fact that that range buff really has helped this gun. Not just in the sense that obviously it can kill further out, but it's helped the hit detection significantly. Before with the Lumina, I would constantly feel like I was whiffing shots, having ghost bullets at certain ranges. The hit detection on the gun just felt bad. Now with this change in the 140 range buff and all of that, it feels really solid. Yes, like I previously mentioned, you know, the way to get the damage buff is a little drawn out, you know, having to shoot the orb, collect it, and then find a teammate, and then get the damage buff. But, you know, it does work as well. You just have to be near your teammates, which is something I don't necessarily always do, which is why might be why I struggle with it a little bit, but I'm not always with my team. But this definitely does encourage good team play and, you know, just being aware of where your teammates are. And overall, I was just really, really pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed my time using the Lumina, and I might use it a little bit more, especially in 3v3 modes. You can see there with the buff, easily challenging a sniper now and quickly 3-tapping. It's just very, very solid, man. And it might take you by surprise if you've never really considered it. Again, if you don't have the weapon, go ahead and try and get it if you can. It's really, really cool, just from the lore and everything about it. Being the polar opposite to Thorn, I think, is just really cool. You know, it's just a really good gun. And I'm just overall really pleased with the balancing that Bungie have done to the weapon sandbox. I think it's really, really good. Yes, there are some negative things, most certainly, specifically for me, surrounding loot. That is obviously something we've addressed already in the video. To be fair, Bungie in the TWAB have also changed it so some world drops are now once again dropping. So obviously it's not exactly what you want, but it's a step in the right direction. And with these weapon balancing changes being so spot on, the only thing left now for Crucible to be really, really fun is to fix the matchmaking, because I'm matching people on the other side of the planet way too often. So if you can fix that, Bungie, I think we are looking real good in the Crucible. Guys, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.